Welcome to the Reds Reviews podcast brought to you by PayPerHead.com. Again, that is PayPerHead.com. Right now they have a promo going on. It is $3 per head, the premium promo, everything on the plate until the Super Bowl. So what that means is a lot of savings on your PayPerHead costs. Go check them out at PayPerHead.com and let's get on with the Red Show. Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you? It's Red, and it's that time of the week. We're going to check in, we're going to look at some stuff, and we're going to talk about sports and new upcoming features and all kinds of good stuff that's happening for 2021, because it's a new year and it's a new hope, right? All right, so the NBA is running without basically a hitch. I mean, I've seen a couple of problems, with the COVID thing here and there. I think Houston Rockets were the first ones to have an issue with it overall. But otherwise, most of the stuff's been running pretty smoothly, and I think that's a good sign. I think it's a great sign, actually, because the NBA is obviously the most politically correct league in all of sports, basically. So if they're able to work this out and make it so this is a thing, we should be able to have a March Madness. We should be able to have regular sports throughout the entire year, considering. Looking at the actual stuff right now, KD is back. KD is one of my favorite players just because he's actually quite real when it comes down to it. I don't see a huge media presence with this guy, and he just goes out there and plays. And so his recovery seems to have been a good thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Nets end up playing out this season. LeBron James and the team are doing well, not as well as a lot of people thought after they drafted their new big man for the middle. But again, we're talking a team that's gonna have to gel later on in the season anyway. Golden State playing well. They started off all terrible, right? But Curry's ended up getting his stuff together and actually had I think a career high game just recently. I think it was 62 points or something like that. Anyway, moving on from the NBA, let's talk about the NFL since it is the playoffs this time of the year, and I'm super excited for that because it's a diverse playoffs. Tampa Bay, right? The Buccaneers, obviously because Brady's there. It's one of the major changes that's brought them to where they're at. They made it to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. The Cleveland Browns. Now let's talk about the Browns. The Browns come in and beat Pittsburgh. Right? Sent Pittsburgh home. And there's a lot of people that are really upset about that fact. Really. And particularly, Pittsburgh themselves. But I'm super hyped for Cleveland because not only is this a team that didn't show that much promise overall because it's a bunch of rookies or it's a bunch of people that definitely you didn't anticipate them playing this well together. But here we are, right? So they're going into this weekend and it's going to be a big matchup coming up here. I mean, they're playing the Chiefs, right? Kansas City is the top seed. You got the underdog Cleveland Browns at -10. I hate lines makers for making this line. It's actually a slap in the face to the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs, this second round of the playoffs. To have a -10 in a game like this makes zero sense. And I know Kansas City's good. I know they are. But, dude, -10? You're asking people to bet the dog. And they'll probably cover that spread. And I'm going to be hating on it. I'm going to be laying off on this game. There's going to be a lot of people playing the Browns plus points. So it's going to be a game that I'm going to watch on the teasers too, because if you got any 10-point teasers, 7-point teasers, anything that you're allowing on that kind of front, the Browns plus 17 and any other, total, basically the total in that game, I'm also going to be watching that. That's going to be a problem. Someone's going to tease it down and they're going to take the over in that, right? So it's I don't know. It is what it is. So those are the book side of the stuff that we can talk about, limiting and stuff like that. So any on the teasers, make sure your teasers are ready for this weekend because it could definitely be a very high volume weekend. And as far as volume goes, My volume has been huge because of the player props. It's been huge because of the casino. It's been huge because of the fact that the NBA, college basketball, and everything is going on right now. And also, that did happen Monday. Alabama trounced Ohio State, which wasn't a big surprise to me. Alabama's weight to, it's like boys to men, basically. Boys versus men. Sorry. As far as the actual team itself, there's going to be, and they were talking about Saban's like draft, his recruitment and drafting. This is the sixth ring for Saban, which is crazy to me. But they show these guys in the pictures and they just look like NFL players. I mean, it just look like straight NFL players that are chilling in their Alabama Crimson Tide uniform. So we'll see a bunch of those guys probably going in the NFL next year, 100%. The 2017 class of Alabama, there was I think 6 guys that got drafted, and they're looking at probably another 6 guys getting drafted this year. And that's why a lot of people played. That's why the SEC was like, hey, COVID, cool, don't care. We're going to play. We're going to play. And I really love to see that kind of stuff, because as far as the stats coming out and everything else, and the same with the NFL, the same with anything, I would love for an actual healthy person who's in the sports world to basically give their commentary on how they feel about this entire thing, how it's playing out right now. And obviously there's going to be the PC side of it, which is why I mentioned the NBA. The NBA is going to be, well, we have my family members and this and that happened and someone died from COVID. Yes. And you know what else happened? CDC released a bunch of numbers regarding actual COVID death-related things. Not the cause, but the COVID-related stats. And so 60% of whatever was out there for COVID deaths is now gone, right? So there's much fewer deaths related to COVID as a direct result. So sports are looking good. Excited about that. And I'll, as far as whatever else is going on in the world, and I'm not going to talk too much about the politics of the whole thing, but the entire mainstream media, I'm going to call it that, is erasing the last 4 years, right? Trump banned on everything. They banned the guy on Shopify. Let me ask you a question, if you're a listener and you've been listening to me for a second. Does having a store with an American flag on it, or something that says "Make America Great Again," merit completely removing it because it provokes violence? No. It may provoke something else, like an actual outside thought that isn't the same as the mainstream media, but here we are. It's just crazy. The world inside that whole nutshell of a thing is absolutely crazy right now, and I'm so grateful that I work in what I do. I really am. I'm being a part of this business and being able to be immersed in sports all the time and not so much looking at all this other stuff that's going on and having to deal with person-to-person transactions anymore and all that kind of stuff where I have to talk to people, because a lot of people are very opinionated right now, including my players. And so I don't have to meet them because I'm especially the guys that are I'm yo, this guy is crazy. Pay me through the APS. Go to your cashier and deposit there. I'm fine with it. If I have to pay you, I'll send you money. Don't care. So it's working out well for me. And I also, there's going to be a couple of things. They released a new tool for me that is huge, and it is a tool that allows me to set rates for sub-agents. And what that means is that I'm able to actually, because I've got a couple of guys that I gave a website to and said, here, let your players log into here. All you got to do is pay me the head count fees. And what ended up being the thing is that I have to calculate how many heads they have per week or per month, whatever, however that ends up working out. And then they pay me based on that for the actual website itself, just like I pay PayPerHead or any of the other companies that we work with. And that's so having this tool with this company in general is a major thing, because it's all online and it's all documented and there's no discrepancies, because it's actually it just shows up the same way when I log in. They see that as their bill due. And I can also set the rates for other third-party products that I often, I run for myself or I allow these guys to run. And it takes the discrepancies out of that too. So if I'm paying 15% for the live dealer, which I am right now, I can charge this guy 17 and set that rate. Same with the live wagering. It's got its own section to set that rate, and it allows me to run an independent piece of the business where I can take a little bit off the top every week without having to do anything other than just basically set the rates and forget about it. It is incredible, and I'm actually very excited that they released this. There's not a company out there that's doing it like this. There are some people that have some dollar sheets or whatever. If you have a guy under you and they credit your account $1 or something like that. Not like this, not where it allows me to manage it myself. And so that's one of the biggest releases that just came out and was just given to us this last week on Tuesday. It was a message that I got. So again, go check it out. It is available for you right now. And as far as the other things that are coming up, I've talked a little bit about the player props, talked about the APS, and I also got wind that there's going to be a brand new dashboard, entire reporting format that is mobile based. It is mobile based, and it is something that will help because a lot of the last 10 years have been a transition between desktop or tablet, right? Like tablets still have some weird stuff, like wonky stuff. Samsung has finally come around to being able to do dynamic formatting pretty well. iPad was the first in the game, and they did the best job with that. But as far as this goes, this apparently is going to have everything based on that coming from that direction instead, where it's not reverse engineered. It's actually mobile first, and it is designed for bookies like us. And so I'm super excited to be able to see this when it's actually released and use it. And I think that's supposed to be within the next few weeks. I don't know exactly when, but I'll keep you guys updated on that as far as the inside line on that. I'm also gonna leave it here for the week just because there's a lot of content that I'm waiting for the second round, right, to pan out on the NFL, and I'm sure we'll have some big stuff to talk about on the following week. So if you're around, look to see you there, and I hope the odds are always in your favor. We'll be around. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning into the Reds podcast, brought to you by PayperHead.com. For all relative promos going on right now, please check them out at PayperHead.com. Also, opinions expressed on this show are not that of PayperHead.com. And if you do like what you hear, for all the agent news coming up, please like, subscribe, and follow. We will see you next week.